Hey guys and girls, welcome to this A+ Core 2 practice quiz where I am going to give you one performance-based question and one question from every single exam objective. That's right, you heard it right. One performance-based question, a relatively simple one, but one that will test your knowledge, absolutely, and a question from every exam objective as well to get you ready for that exam. Let's get straight into it right about now. Our performance-based question of the day is going to ask us to match the type of malware to the relevant description. We have our malware over on this side, and we have to match it to our description over on this side. Let's just go ahead and give you an opportunity to make an attempt at this. I want you to pause the video and try to match these. Make some notes, write it down, scribble it down somewhere, maybe in a Google Doc. Write down your answers in order and then wait, come back to the video, press play and see if you got it right. I'm going to assume you have now paused the video and I'm going to get straight into the explanation. Please make an attempt before watching the explanation. It makes a world of difference. Trust me, as an educator, I'm telling you, if you try before you look at the answers, you will learn a lot more. So this first one over here monitors information on the screen in order to gather information such as emails and usernames. All right, so it monitors information on the screen. Hopefully we're already thinking, okay, this is like they're spying on us, right? So it could potentially be stalkerware because it's like they're stalking us. However, stalkerware really is more about tracking where you are going and what you are doing. It's less about looking at what is on your screen, and it's more about potentially using GPS location services, for example, to track where you're actually going. I'm finding out where you are going and what you are doing. So it's not stalkerware because it's simply monitoring information on the screen, which also rules out the other spy-related malware, which is keylogger, because that doesn't look at the screen. It just logs what keys are being pressed. Whereas spyware can record your screen, and that is actually one of the primary uses of spyware. So the answer for that first one is going to be spyware. If we know our stuff through process of elimination, that is the only one that really makes sense there. Let's get to the next one, which is it actively hides its presence by using administrator privileges. Which one of these actively hides their permissions by using administrator privileges? The only one here that can do that is absolutely the rootkit. The rootkit, it's in the name. It is in the root. It acts as the administrator and actually attempts to actively hide its activity and its presence, which can make it particularly devastating to try to get rid of. The next one, an application that appears to be legitimate but contains malicious software. Pretty vague, right? It's like that could be any kind of malware. Malicious software, what does that mean? You're absolutely right. So this is like an overarching term for a program that appears to be good, but when you download it, it has type of malicious software in there. Could be any type of malicious software, right? Could have a keylogger, could have adware, could have boot sector virus, could have cryptominer, could have any of these. But which one appears to be application that is good and actually is hiding malware? Trojan. Just like a Trojan horse. It appears great, but there's Roman soldiers hiding inside. There's malware hiding inside. All right? So if it's a vague description like that, that's saying, hey, it's hiding something inside, you just don't know until you download it, then Trojan is the one we're going to select. This one encrypts files demanding payment for their return. Hopefully this one's pretty evident and clear. If they are demanding for payment for return of those files so you can get those files back, it's absolutely going to be ransomware. They're quite literally holding your files at ransom. That one should be pretty easy to detect on your exam if you can look out for that clear indicator that they are demanding payment. Hey guys, this video is sponsored by the A+ Core 1 and Core 2 Ultimate Learning Guide. This learning guide has helped many people pass their Core 1 and Core 2 exams, meaning that they can move on to their Network Plus and Security Plus sooner rather than later. In the learning guide, here's what you will get. Detailed notes, revision notes, active recall questions, and multiple choice questions for every single exam objective. 3 full-length practice exams with performance-based questions, a document with performance-based questions, a video showing you exactly how to study using multiple choice questions so you will be moving ahead of 99% of other people at a much faster rate because you are studying more effectively. A video giving you test-taking tips in case you get stuck on a question in the exam. A video showing you how to use free AI tools to 10 times your study sessions. And best of all, I want this to be accessible to everyone regardless of your economic position, so I've made it extremely affordable. So if this sounds good to you, you can head over to journeytocyber.com and grab your A+ Core 1 or Core 2 learning guide today. This next one significantly spikes the resource usage of the victim's device in order to achieve its task. Oh, which one of these spikes its resource usage to achieve its task? It indicates it's not trying to mess with the user. It's just using the user's machine for a task. Can't be stalkerware, because the purpose of stalkerware is to stalk the individual. It can't be fileless, because that's a method of how the virus appears, but it's not talking about the task it's trying to complete. It has to be a crypto miner. That's the only one here that is specifically using the victims or the users, we'll say victims, the victim's device for a task. They're using the victim's device in order to mine cryptocurrency, which takes up a high amount of CPU processing power. The next one targets the MBR. If you don't know what that is, hopefully you do. The master boot record, which is where we boot from on a hard drive. It's in the name. It's a boot sector virus. The MBR, the master boot record, is a boot sector virus. It lives in the boot sector, which can make it difficult because it's there before the booting process actually occurs. Very tricky one that is. And finally, this one cannot spread itself without user interaction. All right. So it cannot spread itself. It needs a user to interact in order for it to spread. That's a virus. You have a virus which needs user interaction, and then you have a worm which can actually spread itself without user interaction. It's important to know that distinction for your exam. Hopefully you guys went all right on that. You are going to need to be able to identify these various types of malware based on descriptions such as this. For your exam, you're likely also going to have to look at a scenario and dissect what that malware is doing, and then try to pick which one that they're saying is in that particular scenario. All right, so hopefully we did all right. If we didn't, then you know you need to go back and study. Moving on to our first multiple choice question of this video. It reads, a technician is trying to diagnose why a computer is having trouble connecting to a server on the internet. They want to check the path that data packets are taking to reach the server and identify any points of failure or high latency along the way. Additionally, they want to use the command that will produce the quickest result, as time is of the essence. Which command line utility is best for this task? Is it A, ping, B, path ping, C, trace RT, or D, netstat? Pause the video and make an attempt if you haven't already. Your answer is coming in 3. Yes, it is on its way. 2. Here we go. It is coming. The answer is going to be trace route there. That is the one that will produce the data that this individual is looking for while simultaneously having the fastest response. All right. These other information, these other options here, some of them will do the job, but the key is speed, isn't it? So ping, for example, does not do the job. Ping will simply say, can I reach this thing? Yes or no. So that's not it. Netstat is really not related to this task at all. Whereas path ping will do this job, but it also gives us an unnecessarily large amount of information that is beyond the scope of this particular task. And as a result, it takes a lot longer to complete. Now, because time is of the essence, it cannot be path ping. All right. So hopefully that made sense. And we did okay there. We're going to go ahead and get into the next question now, which is, that came from exam objective 1.5, specifically looking at network, and it involved all of those potential commands. So as you can see, you need to know about all of the commands in this exam objective, but specifically we were just looking at the highlighted ones for that question. So hopefully that gives you some context there. Now, moving on to the next question, which reads, a user's computer suddenly starts running very slowly. The CPU is running hot and the fan is constantly on, even when the computer is idle. The user notices an unknown background process is consuming almost all of the computer's processing power. What type of malware is this? Is it likely A, fileless, B, adware, C, crypto miner, or D, stalkerware? We did actually talk about this in the performance-based question at the beginning. Pause the video and have an attempt. Your answer is coming in 3, 2, 1. That's right. It's absolutely crypto miner, guys. Crypto miner is the one that is likely to spike your CPU usage because they are using your computer for a task, right? They're literally using your computer to complete a task. They're not trying to give you ads to get you to click on something. They're not trying to stalk you and find out where you're going, what you're doing. And fileless here, fileless is literally just a description of a type of virus. A wide variety of viruses can be fileless, but the one that most accurately meets the criteria, the description set out here, is crypto miner. It spikes the CPU usage and it is running a background process to achieve a task. That's going to be a crypto miner, guys. There's really no doubt about that. That one came from exam objective 2.4. We're looking at types of malware, and all those types of malware there is anything that you will need to know about in relation to what you need to be able to identify based on the description. You need to be able to say, hey, this is the type of malware you are talking about. Now, the next question, exam objective 3, reads, when troubleshooting a service that will not start, what is the most important first step? Is it A, restarting the computer, B, running an antivirus scan, C, checking the event viewer for error details, or D, trying to start the service manually? Pause the video and have an attempt. I'm gonna assume you have paused the video. If you need more time to think about it, your answer is 3, 2, 1. Absolutely, guys. It's going to be checking the event viewer for error details. Whenever a service fails to start or crashes, event viewer will log errors, and you can actually go to event viewer and view that error log. Some of these other things are good to do, but it's not necessarily the first thing that you want to be doing, simply for efficiency's sake. Let's think about restarting the computer. Before you've even looked at why this service isn't starting, there's no need to restart the computer, particularly if everything else is working well. It's going to give you more information more quickly if you just quickly go to event viewer and check it, right? So it's kind of an inefficient process, and there's no reason to think that will fix the issue. I know there's that idea of turn it off and turn it on again, but if it's only one service, it's going to make more sense to go to event viewer and check it. The next one, running an antivirus scan. There's no reason to believe this is a virus. We would want to check event viewer before we do that to get more information. If there's then information that indicates a virus, that could be our next step. But before we get that information, it's inefficient to immediately just start running an antivirus scan. It doesn't make any sense before we know what the error is. And then D, try to start the service manually. We could do that, and if it works, great, but we still don't understand the underlying issue about why that crashed. That's not really troubleshooting. That's more like, I guess that is troubleshooting, sorry, but it's not going to give us our answer. That would tell us, hey, manually it starts, automatically it doesn't. What's going on? We would still, after this, need to go to event viewer to find out the answer to that. So for that reason, it's not the first thing we should do. The first thing we should do is go to event viewer, all right? Hopefully that all made sense. We're going to go ahead and see what exam objective that was from. Let's take a little look here. It was from exam objective, skipping on past that, exam objective 3.1. And specifically, we're looking at services not starting. So you need to know about pretty much all of these, troubleshooting each of these individual dot points. I just gave you one here. Let's move to our next and final multiple choice question, which is, an IT team is attempting to deploy a new security patch to a server. During the process, the original plan to download the patch from the internet fails because the update server is unavailable. The team then switches to a different documented procedure to install the patch from a USB flash drive that they had prepared in advance. After the patch is installed, the team must get final approval from the user who requested the change. What two documented business processes are demonstrated in this scenario? And what is the role of the user who provides final approval? Is it A, the processes are sandbox testing and a rollback plan? The user's role is a sponsor. Or B, the processes are sandbox testing and a backup plan? The user's role is a change control board. Or is it C, the processes are a backup plan and a change control board? The user's role is the business customer. Or is it D, the processes are a backup plan and the business customer's approval? The user's role is to provide final approval that the change was successful. Pause the video and have a think about it. Your answer is coming in 3. Please pause the video and do have a go. 2, your answer is on its way right now as we speak. 1, absolutely, the answer is going to be C, guys. That answer is C. All right, the processes are a backup plan. Why is it a backup plan? Because they're not giving up and rolling back to a previous version. All right, what they're doing is they're switching to a different documented procedure to install the patch from a USB flash drive. So they're still trying to do the same thing, but they're doing it in a different way. They're like, okay, we still need to achieve the goal, but we need to do it in a different way using a different method. So that's a backup plan. A rollback plan, which is here, which is incorrect. We don't want a rollback plan, is when you roll back to a prior version or to how it was before you made any changes, right? But no, we're still trying to achieve it with a backup plan. Change control board is described here when we're talking about the team, right? The team is trying to implement a change and they're doing things to get final approval from the user who requested the change. The change control board is generally the individuals who are in control of these kinds of changes. So really, it has to be them here. They are the ones doing this. And finally, the user's role is the business customer here, right? They are not on the change control board. The user is receiving the product. So hopefully that all makes sense, guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and just finish off by giving you my spiel that I have to do. I guess I'll do that after I say that was from exam objective 4.2, change management procedures. You do need to know about all of this, all right? So don't skip on this exam objective, please. But look, before I let you guys go, I'm going to say if you do want to pass your core 2 with one purchase, which is like 16, 17 US dollars, 25 Australian dollars, then head over to journeytocyber.com pbqquestion.com/1202. Link is in the description and the comment below. Click that link and get it today. People are already passing with this, and you can be there too. So if that's what you're interested in, go ahead and get there. Otherwise, I got free videos for days. It's just gonna be more quick, more efficient. You get more detail more frequently, whenever you want, whenever you need it, if you get this. But hey, if you don't want that, then that's all good. I'll see you in the next video. I just want you to make sure you tell me when you pass. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys. Really, truly appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.